Blue-faced man.
There we go. So double whammy. Thank you for everyone for telling us. It's been a crazy time to get ready for the show, Stephen. There was no sound. It's fixed now. It was still muted. We converted over. So let me paint a picture for everyone out there. Let's do a recap. So I get home from work today. My son's in college, and he wanted to watch The Mandalorian. So we had to watch The Mandalorian. So we got The Mandalorian. I was about to give up on the show, but tonight was a good show. Oh, yeah. So I was trying to do something new for tonight's show. I did in the past. I was trying to have a phone number so you guys could kind of call in for this episode because we'll be talking about movies, movies that were video games and so forth and so forth. Hey, Rexer, how you guys doing?
And Sean, you can open a can and shut the hell up.
So hopefully everything's okay now. So I was trying to work on this thing right up to the last minute, and it did work. Unfortunately, Steven couldn't hear it. So I can have you guys calling in. I can hear your conversation, and it would be on the show. But if Steven can't hear it, he can't interact. So
I would have just sat there and nodded my head and smiled a lot, and Glenn would have to retranslate everything. This is what so-and-so said, blah, blah,
blah. So rather than do that, it's unfortunate. I think I found, of course, with like 1 minute left before the show went live, I think I found the solution, but we're not going to be able to put that on. But then I'm launching the show, and now I forgot that the mics were then muted. So as usual, when you come to the GRS Kickin Old School, you have two old guys here, there's going to be mistakes. But you know what? We're human.
I'm surprised there's not flames in the back.
Not yet.
Just, But hey, what do we know?
Well,
so you had a good week.
Not how to do a show apparently, because
you had a good week. Otherwise, not just a bad day, but you
know what? Had a good day with my text today. Had a pizza party. I threw a pizza party for my text today. You know, it's always good when every one of your employees comes up to you and says, "You're the best manager they've ever had in their life." One guy's there 13 years. I've only been there 5 at this company, and he comes up and says, "You know what? You're absolutely by far the best manager I ever had." So
that make you cry.
That was, you know, it's good.
Onions.
It's good, and I've joined the realm of some bitcoins. I decided to dip my toe, and I bought some of the Shiba Inu,
cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I bought some cryptocurrency. So I have like 8
jillion.
You
can afford Bitcoin? Wow.
No, so I bought the one that's like 0.0000011 cents. So I bought some of those. I figured, you know what? I'll let it ride, see how it goes.
Yeah, but we have Andy's game room that said it must have been good pizza. I think he spiked it to get those compliments out of the staff.
I didn't have a chance to even get my drink, so I'm doing this one completely.
No, are they saying you put something in the pizza, maybe?
No, I didn't.
To get the compliments? I don't know. It's just saying.
But enough of this jibber jammer. And we again want to thank you guys for joining. Even with all the little issues we have with the show, we got a great crowd once again. We got. I saw our Rex are in there, Angie's Game Room, Jeff D, Ben's here, Paul's here, Pliskin Run, Zero Redux, Mary Sherlock Parker, all the way from Florida. Watch out for those crocodiles down there. They bite. Who else we got?
Alligators. There's a controversy about that.
It's either alligator or
tomato.
Sean's here as well.
That's my cousin from down south.
Cousin from another mother?
So No, he's directly related, unfortunately.
Okay.
So,
and Jason M. here as always. So again, we thank you guys for coming. And, you know, I saw a couple of movies this week, and I'm like, you know what? I think rather than talk about stuff we don't want to talk about, let's talk about some of these old movies. I'm talking about video games that translated into movies. Obviously, there's the new Mario movie that just came out. There's the Tetris movie. It doesn't have to be animated, but there was a Tetris movie that came out. You know, there's going
to be a few categories. There's going to be live action, animated, and either direct to DVD or whatever, that sort of thing. So we'll dip our toe in all of them. Maybe we'll classify them and say, okay, live action, which one was the better?
Now, I'm going to let Steven run this one because I was so busy trying to get everything else working, which apparently I still failed at because we started the show with no audio. But
while he was fixing, I was like reminding him of all these movies, and he's like,
oh yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll start with the live action stuff. And there's some of these I forgot about completely, and some of them that are good. So we'll start off with the live action stuff. So apparently the very first one was let's see if the crowd can get it. The very first live action video game movie, according to Wikipedia. I didn't ask ChatGPT this time, so let's hope Wikipedia is a little more accurate. And let's have it in the chat to what you guys think was the first. Don't go to Wikipedia. Just guess if you can, okay? To see which one was, video game based. Tron. Well,
but that wasn't that. Well, I guess that would.
These are movie. I think, I think
we'll qualify it.
Well, it's not because it's yes and no. So basically, the movie came out, then the game came out at the same time,
and then and then a TV series that came out, the cartoon Tron.
Is it Tron Legacy? No, the Legacy is the second one, or the CGI one. What was it called? Tron. I forget.
Yeah.
But basically, what we're talking about tonight will be video games that were out for a while, then the movie came out.
I will say, now, me personally,
because the list will go on forever.
Yeah, we will. We're gonna try and go quick, but Tron, I would say was good. I mean, it was a movie first. It did become a TV show. There became another movie. It became a video game. So I would say that's a granddaddy of it. Now I'm gonna give that one personally. I think, again, it wasn't at the time thought of as highly as it's thought of now. You know, it's got the cult following. I give Tron 2 thumbs up. If you haven't seen it, what's wrong with you? Go see it, and then buy a GRS Tron joystick.
I like the new one. The new one I thought was pretty good too, CGI wise and everything. I thought it was pretty good, but nobody seems to have got it in the chat. Basically, from what I could see. So the first one, Nooner got it.
Oh, he did, huh?
Right at the 11th hour. So Super Mario Brothers got released in May 28th of 1993, apparently. So we're not really dipping into the 80s because that didn't happen.
I don't think there's a problem with that. I just say that was just a bad movie.
Oh, yeah. It made $38 million. Well, $39 million at the box office. The Metacritic score for it is 35%.
I don't think it's deserving that high.
It didn't do that well.
It doesn't deserve that much. So there was a before the new Mario, there was that, and there was a TV show as well. But the first Mario movie, okay, fine, it sucked. Let's move on.
But these are live action. These are live action. So the next one, according to this, was Double Dragon.
Oh my God, I forgot about Double Dragon.
It came out in November of 1994. It made $4 million.
Does it say how much it was to make it? Does it tell you how much it was at the time to?
No, it doesn't say. Like, it has a Rotten Tomatoes scores of 12%.
That's probably about right.
But basically, I think the guy from the show with the bunch of kids.
Goonies?
No. It's a TV show with
the Brady Bunch? Power Rangers?
No. Orangutans? No. Let's see here. Starring Robert Patrick was in there, apparently, from Terminator 2.
Yes, by the way, Stephen M. I'm sorry. Tron Uprising. That's exactly what we're trying to remember.
Uprising, that's what it was.
That was the one. Thank you, Stephen M.
Yes, yep. So Scott Wolf, he was in that show. It was called Party of Five. It was a TV show, whatever.
Oh, yes.
Anyways, he was one of the Double Dragon guys.
Yeah, I remember. It sucked. Yes, it was bad.
It's bad. Like, you don't write home about that one for sure. After that, there was Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Goddam. So
that one again,
it was okay, I guess.
It was over the top acting, which I guess.
It's
kind of the way the game was.
Wasn't the guy who played Uncle Fester?
No,
Gomez. In Addams Family? Or Gomez.
Gomez.
He was in there. He played the I forget.
Bison or whatever his name is. I'm not a big Street Fighter fan, so I don't really know. But yes.
Yeah, me neither.
And unfortunately, he died of cancer, unfortunately.
Now this one, the next one, these are kind of like in a chronological order here, by the way.
Okay.
So then there was Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat!
They had that song by...
great soundtrack.
What were they called? The Utah Saints? The band? They made the theme song. It was like... This is 1995. Techno was the best thing since sliced bread.
Yep, and I'm going to give that original Mortal Kombat film...
It was actually
soundtrack
good.
And the show, I'm giving 2 thumbs up.
It was good.
I liked it.
Same here. I agree with you 100%. It's a Metacritic score of 60. It made $124 million, apparently. So
I remember going to the theater, walking in. I was pumped for the sequel, which was kind of a letdown. But
Utah Saints made the original theme song for that. Had that screaming thing, right? So it was actually
Mortal Kombat. I remember the Genesis commercial.
The guy yelling to the top of his lungs.
Mortal Kombat.
And then 2 years later, they released Annihilation, which made half the money.
Yeah, it wasn't so good.
And it's got a Metacritic score of 11%.
It wasn't so good.
It didn't do well at all. Like, essentially, the sequel, this gave the whole thing of sequels.
But that's what gets me. These games are so popular. They can print money. All you got to do, people in Hollywood, is just follow the story of the game. Because the people who are playing the game, that's what we want to see in action.
That's right.
So that's right. I'm going to talk about something. I'm going to bring this up again later with the disappointment as of late. But these movies that don't do well is because you take the script, you try and subvert our expectations, and it bombs because they suck. So, Stephen,
it's the same version of being woke back then, in a sense. They just tried to do their own thing or whatever. It's the same thing. So the next one. That surprised you earlier was Wing Commander.
I'd forgotten about Wing Commander. I did. And you know
Dune's coming up, Liskin's Run.
It'll be on there. Now, that again was a game people remember on the PC and other
Mark
things.
Hamill part of that project?
He was. He did the PC version and Ginger Lynn, the porn star. So look that up. So the video game with Mark Hamill had Ginger Lynn, the porn star, in there. So play the game.
They would hope nobody would notice.
I don't know how I noticed. I mean, I'm sure someone told me because I don't really know if something. But yeah, okay, she's in there. But that was again a gaming franchise that had a huge following, and the movie was kind of a. Let's be honest, it was a letdown. It was. Freddie Prinze Jr. was in that, and the visuals were kind of okay. The story was.
I never saw it.
It's toilet water. So
I never saw it.
Well, you didn't lose anything.
Epicus is asking, where does the Wizard fit into this? You remember the Wizard Nintendo?
We'll get there.
Movie?
I assume we'll get there.
But I don't think it's not based on a video game. It's kind of like kids competing in a video game tournament. So it's not really.
It's kind of like themed. Yeah, it's murky. We could probably let that pass and go in there, but it didn't actually have a game. But
I didn't mind it.
But that's not. It's true. The whole point of that entire movie was Super Mario Brothers 2. It was basically a big Nintendo commercial with Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah, exactly.
So it should make it.
It's not based on the story. I guess that's what all these movies are. For like them or not, an attempt at writing a decent story of the video game thing. So after that, in 2001, this movie it made $274 million. It crushed all the previous video game movies, and it was Lara Croft's Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie.
You know what? She was a perfect fit. She did a good job in that role. She looked like Lara Croft. I think that the story was fairly close to her character. Now, she was a strong woman, no problem with it. Lara Croft, you played the game. Well, first of all, you played the game so you could do this all the time. Just to kind of move.
Yeah, but her
that chest around a little bit just to get that angle quite right in the game.
Her chest were triangles.
They were, but hey, beggars couldn't be choosers back then. But with that being said, the first Tomb Raider I enjoyed. I thought Angelina Jolie kind of fit it. You couldn't have gotten anyone better. Like she was.
No, for the time, it was the perfect cast.
Iron Man with
Robert Downey.
Robert Downey, perfect. She was perfect for that.
Yep, I have to agree with that. Yeah. After that,
two thumbs up on that original.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. So the next one kicked off a series of video game movies that I think they made $1 zillion or whatever, but it's the Resident Evil series with the girl from The Fifth Element, Mila Jovovich or whatever her name is.
And with that being said, the first film again I thought was fairly good. Like I thought it was close enough to the story with it, so I enjoyed it. I did. And then then they went off the rails. Then they just went all over the psychopath. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Had to do with anything after the fact.
So essentially, they had Resident Evil Apocalypse, Resident Evil Extinction, Resident Evil Afterlife, and Resident Evil Retribution, Resident Evil The Final Chapter.
Resident Evil Where's My Money? Give me some more money.
No, then there was Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. So anyways.
That was a remake back to the first, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. I watched them with my wife, I want to say a couple of years ago, and I kind of forgot them. They're kind of not that memorable, sadly. So, all right, so let's keep going. So,
wait. Resident Evil first film, I'm giving 2 thumbs up. The rest of them I agree. I'm giving those.
Yeah, I agree. It was good. There was, I think the third or the fourth one wasn't too bad, but they weren't great. You know what I mean? So, since Lara Croft, Resident Evil, my ex-wife. Okay, good. That's what they say, I guess. You guys drive the show, man, every time. So they made so much money with the original Tomb Raider. They took a kick at the can a second time with Cradle of Life, which made $156 million. I didn't like that one that much, but it was okay. But it didn't make the.
Was that like something Life? Tomb Raider 2?
Cradle of Life.
Cradle of Life. It was. Yeah. I give it one thumb.
It made half the money that the.
I give it one thumb. It really wasn't that.
No, and that I think killed it off. I don't think they made with Angelina Jolie, as I'm talking about. They didn't make 3 or 4 of them or whatever, like a lot of people expected.
Right.
Now this one you were freaking out when I told it to you earlier in the show. House of the Dead.
I totally forgot.
So I never saw it.
I own the DVD. I own the DVD. I was a big House of the Dead fan. I loved House of the Dead on the Sega Genesis, not Genesis, I'm sorry, the Sega Saturn, Dreamcast, Xbox, even the Wii. The Wii. If you guys haven't played House of the Dead on the Wii, it is like it's X-rated. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
It is
no, they're great games. They're a lot of fun.
X-rated game. House of the Dead. Oh my God. In any case, the movie.
Like them, obviously.
The movie was bad. I think I put it up against my film, The Toxic Avenger, as far as how bad it is. It started off like the game, and then once again, it kind of went off the rails. The big thing with the House of the Dead one was, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't think I am, was the first time the zombies were fast. Like they were running. They were coming after you. They weren't like no, they were sprinters. They were coming after you. Yep. But then it got like, what the hell am I watching? So
Hobby Hands, yes, we're getting to Max Payne.
Yep, we'll get there.
But I think what we're going to do is not go too far deep, because we can have it go up to, there's so many of them, and we're at 820 right now.
Which is kind of funny. Like, I don't
so many.
I must have blocked some of these out of my head, because I'm like, there's not too many. We'll have to somehow get filler, and then you're reading these off like, oh my God, I forgot about.
Well, what I'm going to do is, from now on, I'm going to start skipping to the better ones, or at least the ones
let's go through them. We can always do another show. Let's just go through them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay, so the next one was another Resident Evil sequel from with Mila Jovovich and all that, which was a Resident Evil Apocalypse.
Okay.
After that was Alone in the Dark. So Alone in the Dark series.
I don't remember that at all. I remember the game.
I remember the game. I remember the movie. Now, Alone in the Dark came out in 2005. My son was born then. It came out the week after my son was born. So there is no way I was focusing on this damn movie, So Alone in the Dark, I knew was coming out, but I never got to see it ever.
I'll have to take a look at that one, because I enjoyed the game.
It scores a 9% out of 100 on Metacritic.
I mean, Alone in the Dark was one of the very first kind of like survival horror games. It was pre-Resident Evil. It was very simple vector graphics. I remember my 386 Amiga 386 SX Bridgeboard. Yeah. I was playing that on there, and you take a shot, and it goes, ooh. You say it again, ooh, ooh, and you couldn't move because you're getting hit.
So after an hour of hearing that, I bet you were like, okay, I had enough of this.
My mom was like, is there a girl in there? What's going on? Is there a girl in your room?
So Alone in the Dark, I never saw it. If you guys saw it, great. Nooner says that Christian Slater, he thinks, was in there. Let's have a look here. Let me bring up the. Oh yeah, Christian Slater, Tara Reid.
Alone in the Dark.
Yeah. So Tara Reid is essentially from American Pie, American Pie 2.
Every one of these films should have had Ginger Lynn. Every one of these films should have Ginger Lynn. They all would have made another $30,000 at least.
Probably. Yep. So the next one is based on a huge franchise, ginormous franchise, very successful, very whatever. And if you flip the word upside down, it spells wood.
You make me use my brain?
Yep. If you flip the letters upside down, it spells wood. Doom. So yeah, there's a meme out there that the guy's wife found his wood CD, and she was reading it upside down. It's pretty funny. So yeah, The Rock was in Doom. I mean, who else was in there? Carl Urban. Basically, he's from Ghost Ship and Star Trek, and he's in The Boys.
Yeah, and another thing is, it was a huge game, highly anticipated movie,
then The Rock.
And then the ending was just like, what am I? I mean,
you don't even know what the hell you're watching, really.
Well, they tried to make it like the game. They really tried at the very end.
They had a sequence in there, with the first-person view and everything.
Just didn't work.
I did not like it at all. I thought it was a bunch of people that did not play the game that made this thing.
Yep.
That's the problem with this stuff. They go, oh yeah, I'll just play a little bit, and they wing it or whatever that kills the whole thing.
Right.
All right, let's move on. we'll see how far we get with the live action stuff, because we can have another show on
we'll probably have to doing that. That's okay.
Yeah,
so,
because
Doom.
I'm trying to highball through these as much as possible. So Blood Rain. Now Blood Rain came out on the original Xbox. Essentially, who was in there? Christina Loken. I have no idea who that is. Michael Madsen. He was in Kill Bill, Reservoir Dogs. He's pretty popular. Matthew Davis. Billy Zane was in there in Blood Rain. You know who Billy Zane is, right? Hey, Blue.
Blue came to say hi to everyone.
Yeah, it's the first time. Wow. Just don't eat the cables that make this thing work. Oh, she's the Terminator 3 girl?
Did not know that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. You're totally right. It's the girl from that's Zero Redux that said that, I think. Yep. It's the Terminator 3 girl. I did not recognize her. I mean, yeah, go nuts. So there was some famous people in there, like Michelle Rodriguez was in there, Meatloaf. Okay. Udo Kier. I've seen him around. Udo Kier was he's been in a bunch of stuff. So anyways, Blood Rain. So I don't know.
I didn't see that one at all. I didn't even have didn't want to even go see that one.
Desire, because we're kind of getting into the games that are past the 16-bit part, right? They're GameCube, Xbox, PS2 era, and they're doing that stuff. So we've got here Silent Hill. I've played that on the original Xbox.
Freaky game.
Yes, that made the little hairs on the back of my neck stand up. It was actually good. The game is good. As far as how good things are, Sean Bean was in there. Basically, the dude from Game of Thrones getting his head chopped off. He was in there. Laurie Holden from the X-Files and all that stuff. So it's like it's a good game. What else we got? Dead or Alive, DOA. So basically, that's based on the fighting game by Tecmo. So for those of you that play that stuff, and we're getting into the newer stuff. We're not talking about the 8-bit, 16-bit eras that Glenn and I at least grew up with, in a sense. But these are the newer games, because I think Dead or Alive came out on the original PlayStation.
I think
first,
so.
And then Dead or Alive 2 came out on, I think, Xbox and Dreamcast, I believe. I forget. So anyways, and then we got another Resident Evil game. Movie, sorry, not game. Which was Extinction. Now the next one, this movie, I had no idea it existed. It is based on the game called Postal. It's a first-person shooter game.
Yep, I remember.
I think it had Gary Coleman in this game before.
Come on.
Or Postal 2, I forget which one. Maybe the community, the chat, it would clarify that. But I think Gary Coleman was not in the movie, but he was, I think, a voice. J.K. Simmons was actually in Postal in 2007, October 18th, 2007. It only made $146,000.
Oh,
ouch! It didn't break the million thing at all. So that's got to be probably the worst one on the list here as far as making money, because everybody else made a few million at least, but the Postal did absolutely nothing. So apparently it came out in 2007. So if you guys want to Google that, it's probably end up on YouTube for free because it made no money. Nobody cares about it. The other one is Hitman. Now Hitman.
That was a good game. That was a good series. I like playing that game.
The Hitman game is pretty good. Essentially, Timothy Olyphant. So Timothy Olyphant, did he act in The Mandalorian? Was he the guard guy or the guy that took Boba Fett's gear? Was that guy?
Anyone could take Boba Fett stuff. He's a big
No. In The Mandalorian, remember they go to that little town?
Yeah.
And there's a guy that had Boba Fett's armor.
The sheriff guy.
Yeah. Was that him? Was that Timothy David?
Yep. Ben says yes. Yes, he was. Oh, yes, he was. There we go. Boop. Yes, he was.
Yeah, and then we got a bunch of other people. I have no idea who the hell it is. So, this movie, did it do really well? 101 million.
All right.
35%. It's not terrible. Now the game Dungeon Siege is a Microsoft game, but there's a movie. It's In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege Tale. Now, I have an interesting Microsoft story with that because I met the guys that made Dungeon Siege at Microsoft. It's a company called Gas Powered Games. I don't know if it's related to all that. The developer, the main guy, was Chris Taylor. He basically, but I don't know if this is the whole thing, right? So Microsoft, it's kind of like a Diablo dungeon crawler.
Okay.
But this, I have no idea. But anyways, the Jason Statham is the main actor guy in this movie. Like, Jason Statham, really? So I mean, sure, I guess. So anyways, we'll keep going because it's now the next movie. I didn't even know there was a movie about it. I heard about it. Was Far Cry. That's again, we're getting into the newer games. 2008, October of 2008, and it made only $743,000.
What was the budget?
It's up there with. It doesn't say. It might be in there. So, starring Thai slavery. I think it was made in Germany or something. Yeah, it's an English language German action film. So, but it's a Ubisoft game, right? So I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Now the next one is we'll call it the Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch video game adaptation, where he played this cop that has special powers and bullet time.
Not Time Cop.
No. It's okay. You know who Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch were?
Yes.
Okay. The main actor of this movie is Mark Wahlberg.
But what was the movie?
And come on, you got to guess it. I said it earlier before the show, but I guess you forgot. Come on, anybody in the chat? Anybody? Nobody yet. And we're getting to Warcraft. Pliskin's right. Here we go. Epicus got it.
Really? Max Payne.
Max Payne, yeah. Max Payne. The movie wasn't terrible, to be honest with you. It wasn't like I've seen crappier movies, obviously. It made $85 million at the box office. It didn't score well, but Boogie Nights, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be a superstar. Thump. All right, what do you got here? Street Fighter in 2009. Street Fighter, The Legend of Chun-Li.
Really? I don't remember that one.
Well, yeah, it's 17%. It made $12 million. I don't think anybody heard of it. The next one is another fighting game called Tekken.
There was a movie. Was it animated? That was live action? Tekken?
That was live action, apparently. Yep. I'll tell you who was in there. John Foe. I don't think you. Kelly Overton. And who else was in there? I'm just looking to see if there's anybody. Chung Lee. I don't know. Luke Gross. I don't know. It didn't score very well, or it didn't make much money. It made $1.6 million. I think it tanked, totally tanked. Now the next one, this movie was released by Walt Disney Studios. It made $336 million at the box office. It came out in May of 2010, and it's based on an 8-bit character that a company called Ubisoft purchased the rights to from the creator and made more modern versions of this character. Anybody want to take a guess? It's the same guy who made Karateka. His character. Live action, stop motion looking animation. Anybody want to take a guess? Starts with a P. Prince of Persia.
Oh, Prince of Persia. That was actually a good movie. I like that movie. I couldn't think of it.
Jake Gyllenhaal was in there. Prince of Persia and the Sands of Time. Ubisoft had released that game for the original Xbox, PS2, and GameCube, and it made a boatload of money. It was actually a decent movie.
It was a decent movie.
Yeah, it was pretty decent.
Why? They kind of had the story stick to the game.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So, but really good. Prince of Persia. Warcraft is coming, Jason M. It's coming. We're going down in the chronological order. Like Warcraft came out in 2016, and we just rambled off 2010.
This one here, was that even on the list?
Popeye?
Yeah, because it's a video game and it's a movie. I know it's a TV show.
It's not solely based on a video game because it's based on an old cartoon, right?
Yeah, but I think I should have been in there.
I agree. Yeah, but it's not. But I think these are 100% at its core video game. I mean, and then
the movie was priceless. Didn't
Robin
like spinach.
Williams did a great job.
He did, but didn't like spinach at all.
Yeah.
I mean.
And the chick from Psycho was
Popeye,
olive oil.
Popeye.
I forget who played Brutus. Oh, is the guy that okay, so it was
I derailed you.
Italian actor, Bud Spencer. Bud Spencer, I think, played Brutus, and he made movies with a guy named Terrence Hill back in the old days.
You know what I mean? He's mean.
Shelley Duvall.
What I say.
Shelley Duvall. So yeah. So the next movie, we'll
keep going.
Not super fast, but Popeye.
That should have been there.
It's in its own.
It should have been.
Yeah. It's not a video game at its core, right? It's just a character. So, anyways,
that's where this. He was, but it's again, it doesn't have to be a video game first, and then you make a movie. It just has to be one of each. Got to have both of them in there.
We'll put it in. Okay. Whatever. Okay. Here. All right. So the next 2 movies is Resident Evil Afterlife and Retribution. We'll skip those.
Yeah, no.
They made a sequel to the Silent Hill movie called Revelation. Made $52 million. The next one, I don't even know why the hell there was a movie made about this thing, or this franchise, I should say. But it's the NFS franchise, they call it. The Need for Speed. So in March of 2014, the movie Need for Speed came out, and it has a guy named Aaron Paul, he was in Breaking Bad. He was the other drug dealer guy, I think, or something. And who else was in there? Ramon Rodriguez. Michael Keaton was in there.
Interesting. And you know what? I just realized something too. Jason M actually put War Games in 1983, and obviously we've gone past that. Now, War Games was a movie first, but the ColecoVision and I think the MSX, a couple machines had a War Games based game. So
yeah,
again, I think
it's a very weird subject, right? It's which came first, the chicken or the egg kind of thing, right? And then then it's like, okay, is it based on a previous character? No. Is it based solely on, like Tomb Raider was a bunch of guys that made that whole character?
Yeah, I probably should have said, it could be either way. It's just whether they were good or not. So it could have been a movie first, could have been a game first. Like the Popeye movie was not that good, but the video game is classic. I mean, that was almost before Donkey Kong. That's what they wanted. So I want to put that out there. That
put that one out there.
It did, actually. Right. So I want to let you guys know it doesn't have to have been a game first or a movie. It could be either or. It's just whether or not either were good. That's it.
Yeah. This is just the adaptation that ended up on the screen or something was good or bad or whatever. Right. Then the Need for Speed made $203 million.
At the time they were having, the Fast and the Furious, all those type of movies. So that was a good. It was a good time for that to come out.
All right. So the next one is a sequel to Hitman. Hitman was Hitman Agent 47. Came out in August of 2015. Made $82 million. The next one, Jason M, you'll be happy, and somebody else in the chat had both.
Is this Warcraft?
It's Warcraft. Now,
I was excited for that one. I admit, I never played the game. I knew about the game for years, never played it. But I have to admit, I was really excited for the film, and some people said it was bad, and I never watched it. So should I?
You know what? If you're a newcomer and you don't kind of understand the nuances, you're going to think it's a mediocre movie. But if you followed the lore that Blizzard put out there of Warcraft 1, Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3, and then the World of Warcraft stuff, I played World of Warcraft for many years, and the movie, if you don't understand the lore, you think it's a cheap Dungeons and Dragons movie a little bit.
Again, from what you're telling me, it sounds like if Ginger Lynn was in there, it would have raised the bar.
It would have made all kinds of money. But
there we go. Once again, Ginger Lynn would have made it better.
The Warcraft movie, from what I could see, it's made a shit ton of money. Pardon my English. Is $439 million
at the movies.
It scores like at the box office worldwide. So
okay, well, that's not bad.
It scored 32%. It's not a terrible movie, but there's a lot of subtleties. Like, I'll give you an example. So in World of Warcraft, there's a city called Stormwind. Well, in the movie, you actually see this thing fly over and everything. And as a gamer, you played in that world, you're like, oh, that's really cool, you know. But I don't know if it would capture a. So Ginger Lynn as a blood elf mage. Yeah, that'd be perfect. That'd be perfect. So we'll keep going. The next one, I really love this franchise. It's the Assassin's Creed franchise from Ubisoft. Came out in December of 2016. That sucker made $240 million.
That's not bad.
It starred Michael Fassbender. So
not Bender from Futurama.
So Michael Fassbender was he played Magneto in the X-Men series.
And actually, you know what? Speaking of which, yesterday I was binging on the 90s animated X-Men series because they're bringing that back. That's coming back.
Oh yeah, the theme song's awesome.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, it's pretty good. I can't do it, but yeah. It's all about Rogue. I just wanted to watch it for Rogue anyway. I just wanted to see Rogue.
Yeah, exactly. Who we got here? Jeremy Irons was in that thing in the Assassin's Creed movie. So Michael Fassbender was, I guess it's Ennio, and no, that's the second one. I forget what the name of the character is. Anyway, so basically, Assassin's Creed, loved that series on the game. Another Resident Evil movie came out after that.
There's so many, and they're so bad.
We're getting close to the end of being all caught up, basically. So the next one is Tomb Raider.
Which one? The new one.
It didn't have Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
The newer one. Yeah, it had a girl named Alicia Vikander. And she played, let's see, what did she play in it before that you guys would recognize? She would be, what was the one that I saw her in and I went, hey, she was in that. Let's see here. Ex Machina. She was the robot girl.
Ooh.
Remember? Yeah, she was the robot girl, the android girl or whatever.
Yep.
Half her head missing, whatever.
Yep. Yeah, she's not so nice.
And then you had what was the dude in Star Wars that played the rich millionaire guy?
Lando Calrissian?
No, in the sequels that we try to ignore.
What? Steven? Do not.
But I'm just saying that actor was in X.
Stop. Just stop, and let's go on to the next one. Stop. I refuse.
The next one, I'll be honest with you, has The Rock in it again. I guess Rock.
I think I know what this one is, and I really like this film. Is it Rampage?
Yes. I actually liked Rampage.
Rampage I thought was really good. They changed the story a little bit, but you know what? That movie.
It's not bad.
It's good. I'm giving it this. The Rock and Rampage, I thought was really good. I really enjoyed that film. I've watched it a number of times, and I'd be happy to watch it again. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I thought it was really well done. It wasn't too cheesy. I was expecting this to have all kinds of cheesiness to it, and it didn't. It made $428 million at the box office, scoring 45%. Not bad. And everybody seems to agree in the chat that it wasn't bad. In 2018. So
again, they followed for the most part the story. They made a couple liberties in there, but they didn't fundamentally change the story. I mean, The Rock obviously had nothing to do with the game, but they worked him in. They worked the gorillas in and everything else. And you know what? Yeah. I think that's a really good film. So I'm giving that a 2 thumbs up. I really enjoyed Rampage.
For sure. Yep. I agree 100%. The next one I had never heard of. Dead Trigger. I don't even know what game it's based on. and it had Dolph Lundgren in there. And this sucker came out in 2017.
It had to be direct to like.
I think so.
Something.
It only made like, according to this, $151,000 worldwide. Ouch! And I bet you it cost more to make it. So
that's called a loss. That's called a loss.
Now the second one, I saw it. It wasn't bad. Now this is a franchise that's huge, and it's owned by Nintendo, and it's Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
Pika Pika.
So I the only Pokemon that I know of is I played the game Pokemon Go with my wife and my kids and stuff like that, and I know my Pokemon a little bit, but this movie wasn't bad. Like, it was what's his face that did the voice, Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds. What am I thinking?
Pika Pika.
Yeah, you got the magnifying glass
Pika,
there.
Pika, Pika.
So yeah, so basically, Pokemon Detective
Ryan
Pikachu.
Reynolds. It was Ryan Reynolds, wasn't it?
That's right, Deadpool. Yeah. So he did an okay job. It wasn't a terrible movie. You know.
You know what I just realized again, thanks to Pliskin's run right here? There's like 1 million 007 movies and 1 million games. How did that not make on the list?
Yeah. You know what movie was supposed to come out? It never got made with The Rock in it. It was a Spy Hunter game. Spy Hunter movie was supposed to come out. Never did.
That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah.
But seriously, the 007 is not on that list anywhere. There's like 1,000 Bond films and like 10 million GoldenEye, 007.
The egg thing, right? But I agree 100%. There's some really good Bond games like GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64 that everybody loves.
Hobby hands. After the show, then Super Game Room dudes, sit down, put on some Rampage. You will enjoy it. You will. Do it.
Glenn's going to take you out in the back alleyway and beat you up or something. So who knows?
And then play some Tomb Raider to do this.
Yep. Glenn showing off his dad bod.
That's it.
Oops.
Solid. Ladies, calm down, ladies. Calm down.
The next one featured... now, this is the movie that the internet freaked out on and they went and fixed it. Which one do you think it is?
It's got to be Sonic the Hedgehog.
It is, yeah.
And you know what?
That one made a better
would have been a train wreck. If they didn't listen and kept the animation of it would have been a train wreck. But it was a good...
fixed it.
It was a good movie.
It was decent. Yeah.
I would say it was enjoyable. I would put that...
I give it a
Rampage.
Thumbs up.
I guess I'm still giving it 2. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I did think it was good.
Jim Carrey... he never gets old for me. There's a lot of people that don't like him, but I really like Jim Carrey. So he's got a decent sense of humor. So Sonic the Hedgehog, pretty cool stuff. The next one I did see, and I really enjoyed it. It didn't make a bunch of money like Sonic did, but from a Capcom series called Monster Hunter. Now, the newer kids I work with an individual that loves this series gaming-wise. And I've never played them, but it's basically people that hunt ginormous monsters, blah, blah, blah. And it stars our good friend from Resident Evil, Mila Jovovich or whatever. And it came out in 2020. So we're starting to get close to right now, actually. So what do we got here? Yes, Monster Hunter could have been a bit better, but yeah, it wasn't bad. Now, the next one I really liked, Mortal Kombat, the newer one. Did you see that, Glenn?
I did.
I liked it.
It was good. I honestly still think the first film was better. The new one was just all about the blood and the gore.
The new one?
Over the story. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really was.
It totally was, for
right.
sure.
If they had taken the story of like the first one and then did that, it would have been perfect. But they just concentrated too much on one character. They concentrated on the blood and the gore. And again, it wasn't bad. But as someone who is a fan of the early legacy, for me it was okay.
Yeah,
it was okay. I'll give it definitely 1 thumbs up.
It wasn't bad. Yeah, I agree with you. Thumbs up on that one. Now the next movie I've never heard of. It's called Werewolves Within, released in 2021, and it's based on a game. And then we're starting to get in. It's a game made by Ubisoft. I've never heard of this thing. Oh, that movie was a chore to watch. Is he talking about? Are you talking about?
I think it was the Mortal Kombat.
Oh, the Mortal Kombat one.
Yeah.
I was like, this Werewolves Within. I've never heard it. So, and it only made $937,000.
That was a video game?
Yeah, it's an Ubisoft game apparently. I've never heard of it.
Okay.
Now the next one is another Resident Evil film called Welcome to Raccoon City. It made $38 million.
And that looked like I haven't either. It kind of looked like, again, a story more closely to the first game. But I heard so many bad reviews. I'm gonna admit I didn't watch it because I heard too many people bad talking it. So I don't know if anyone saw it.
2021. So yeah, I don't know.
So put that in the chat if that new Raccoon City one was good. 'Cause I'll watch it.
Yeah, me and Glenn never saw it, so let us know. The next one is it was mentioned in chat a few times. Uncharted. Did you see that, Glenn?
I did not. I haven't played the games either. I know the games are like people love Uncharted.
I never played the games. I have them. I basically bought them in a bargain bin for the PS3, I believe. So it's I have them. I know the premise. It's a lot like Tomb Raider, but it's two guys that go on adventures, kind of like Indiana Jones meets Tomb Raider, and it's another flavor of all that. So it's okay. Uncharted, not bad. Came out in February of 22. It stars Mark Wahlberg again, Max Payne. He's Mr. Uncharted, and Spider-Man, Tom Holland.
That's right. There's like 1,000 Spider-Man video games and movies.
Oh yeah. There's a bottomless pit. Now the last one on this list came out in April of 2022. Is Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
And again, I'm gonna give it 2 thumbs up. I liked it.
It made a boatload of money. I don't think I saw the second one.
I thought it was as good as the first one. I thought both were enjoyable. A lot of times, again, from history, the sequels generally are pretty bad, but they have Knuckles in there, and I thought it worked in it well. They also had Tails.
Yeah,
in there.
Tails, Knuckles.
Yeah,
and Sonic. And did they have another one? I forget. Maybe not.
No, but again, I think that Sega did well. Now,
yeah,
I think there are thumbs up for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, then we have the Tetris movie that just came out, and I think everyone should be watching that Tetris movie if you haven't seen it.
Now, these I think were based on the stories within the games. Now, Tetris is kind of documentary style about how they obtained the rights from Russia.
It is, but
totally recommended. Thumbs up.
Yeah, it's still my brother. My brother does not play video games. He does not, and he's been going.
Love this movie.
He tells everyone. He walks up to people. Did you see the Tetris movie? You see the Tetris movie? It's almost like a bum coming up to you asking for money.
It was a revelation for your
brother.
But
he's loved that movie. I've seen it 3 times myself.
The story of it. It's if you look at the movie, it's almost very little to do with gameplay and whatever. But it's about how they got there and brought that whole game and franchise over. It's great.
The last 17, 18 minutes was not how it happened. But that's okay. But that's okay. It still was a great film.
They wanted to make sure they put the movie stuff in there, the Hollywood. Yes. But I agree. Yeah, it was great. Totally recommended. Now, there's some movies coming out. I'll just name a few here. Live action movies coming out. Five Nights at Freddy's. That's
really
horror. There's apparently a movie coming out in October of this year. Borderlands, Sonic 3, Minecraft, apparently.
Sonic 3 is coming out this year? Is that what they're saying?
Sonic 3 in 2024. No, Five Nights at Freddy's is October of this year.
Okay.
What else we got here? I'm just going. Apparently, there's a Duke Nukem movie coming down the road. Anyways, so the other stuff is we'll go with animated, maybe. Let's see here.
Well, no, we can talk real quick just because
you know what?
Time left.
We'll
I want to talk about the Mario.
Yeah.
I want to say Mario. I'm not going to tell you about the story. I'm just going to say that I personally was disappointed in that film. I'm not going to tell you about the story, but I will say the animation was well done. I will say that there was
what's the guys that did those guys made Illumination.
Right.
They made all the Minions
right.
movies.
So the animation was well done.
Yeah.
I thought there was a ton of little Easter eggs in there. It was the story. And, of course, if you guys have seen it, maybe we'll talk about it next week, the week after. We'll go more into the new Mario movie. For me personally, we were talking about the story, stick close to the story. And if you watch the film, I had a hard time. Even my son, Cole, who was a Mario
fanatic.
nut, he was bored.
Really?
He was bored. I was bored. I got through it because I wanted to make sure we talk about it at some point. But I don't want to spoil your people's opinion out there. So you see it, and then maybe say, Glenn, no,
We'll
this is
talk
great
about it
because of
next
this.
week. Let's
we
talk
could do
about
that
it next week. There's a few other movies that go into that same animated CGI melting pot, which is Angry Birds. So we'll maybe talk about that one next week and that sort of thing. Heavenly Sword, Ratchet and Clank. There was a CGI Resident Evil movie. Go figure. But the first one I saw a long time ago was the Final Fantasy one, The Spirits Within. It was beautiful CGI. Holy crap.
For the time? For the time, it was absolutely amazing. And the story, you really had to concentrate on it.
Well, Final Fantasy, I find all over the place from a story perspective. It's like, oh, let's do a story over here, different story over there, and it's not one big continuous thing, right? So yeah. So in the end, I mean, this was awesome to go through this list because there's some good ones and some really bad ones, and I think overall, I'll tell you what. Before we wrap up the show, let's ask everybody in the chat which is their favorite one that we talked about tonight. Period. Put it in the chat and just let us know which one was the memorable one for you as far as if I had to pick one live action video game based movie, put it in the chat. Let us know which ones really did it for you. Like for you, Glenn, out of all the ones I mentioned, which one sticks out the most that you go, you know what, if I had to pick one,
if I was forced to only watch one, I could on an island, I would probably honestly take the first original Mortal Kombat. I really enjoyed that film. I thought the soundtrack was phenomenal. The characters I thought were pretty true to themselves. But the close runner-up would be Rampage.
Oh yeah, eh? Me, my number one pick, if I had to really, really pick, Mortal Kombat. Totally agree with you on that one, and the Tomb Raider original one.
You just
Tomb Raider
want this
movie. Well, yeah, yeah. Why not? So, I mean, video game adaptations and stuff like that. But Pliskin's Run, he said Warcraft. We had another Warcraft by Goofy Foot.
It's Tron also. I'm putting my foot in my mouth because Tron would be also one I'd want to have.
The CGI in Warcraft is amazing. They have I think it was Industrial Light and Magic that did the CGI for Warcraft, I think. And they've got actors, their facial expressions, and they're like ogres and trolls and all that stuff, and they look amazing. The facial CGI is out of this world. So tonight was more live action based on movies and whatever, but there was good mentions of Popeye and all that stuff. It's kind of interesting that.
Well, another one that was mentioned real quick by JT, this is a tough one. Ready Player One or Pixels. Those are movies that
we just watched that recently with my daughter. She hadn't seen it in a long time.
Which one, Pixels or Ready Player One?
Pixels. I like Ready Player One, but for just a stupid story about the whole thing, and you see all these cameos, Pixels is pretty cool.
Did you watch the original YouTube video that inspired it?
Yes. Okay. I saw that. It's pretty cool. It's based on some Canadian guy that had made,
and he did a beautiful job. So, and they are making a Pixels 2. Oh, and here's another one. Pliskin Run got
Pixels 2, really?
Yep. Free guy again. He's supposed to be like a sim,
a game that doesn't exist.
And another one that wasn't in this was Jason Cloak and Dagger. That was a video game. Atari had Cloak and Dagger, and it was a movie. And actually, the 5200 was in the one time the 5200 did something. It was in a movie.
So you know what? I think what we could do is which movies were made into games, kind of like GoldenEye. I think Cloak and Dagger falls into that category where the movie and the to make a quick buck, they released the game right after. And
E.T.
Okay.
Look at E.T. Fantastic movie. Not so much the video game.
Yeah.
Kind of took down the Northern American gaming market, kind of. Not really, but, that's the lore.
The whole thing got buried. Like Wreck-It Ralph's a good one, too. Paul.
Again, Wreck-It Ralph, right? That was animated. We were live action.
Well, that's the thing, right? So we've got these different scenarios where we have game first, then movie. And then we have movie first, then game. Right. Which is a whole different category because I've seen some stuff, Glenn, where movies came out and the game was rushed out and it's a big steaming pile of crap. It's terrible. It was so bad. Did they make a Leisure Suit Larry movie? I never saw one. That'd be all kinds of bad.
I'm going to do a quick search now. I don't know.
Yeah. It'd be kind of cool if they did, I guess. But
I mean, it's been my life. Does that count? It's real.
It's the story of my life, man. So no, tonight was pretty awesome. We got about 2 minutes left in the show, but awesome stuff. That basically we had to go through this list.
Oh, look at this! There was a Leisure Suit Larry movie.
Really?
Yes, but it's not released yet. I guess it's in production somewhere, or production hell. But
probably, yeah. Really?
But yeah, that I would like to see.
It'd be interesting. I just don't know how it'll drive the woke people right out of that theater in one easy step.
Or they destroy it and make it so the guy gets Larry. First of all, Larry in the whole game pretty much doesn't get anything his way. He's constantly being screwed over left and right. So I don't know what they would even complain about, because he's a balding 40, 50-year-old virgin. Nothing goes his way. So I can't imagine what the woke people have a problem with, to be honest.
Well, that's the thing, right? And is it an animated movie, or
it looks like it's going to be live action.
Really? Huh? Interesting. Trevor Moore? Who the hell's Trevor Moore? Somebody. Anyways, who knows?
Oh! How did we miss this one? I'm in the stupid thing.
Which one?
The Toxic Crusaders, the Toxic Avenger movie, and the Toxic Crusaders live action and a video game. How did you miss that, Steven?
I don't know. You were in the movie, not me. Well, it looks like we ran out of time.
We do, and actually, I have to hop over to the Super Game Room dudes, because I'm going to be on.
You're a guest over there.
I'm trading you in. I'm hopping over to the other show.
I know where I'm not wanted anymore. So we'll see you guys next week.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. We're not sure if we'll continue this on, but I thought this would be a good thing to talk about. We'll definitely talk about Mario the next time. But again, you guys, this wouldn't be a show without all of you.
This is a really two-way street show in a sense. Like it's one thing that Glenn and I show up and come up with these subject matters, but in the end, you guys make it cool because you guys are reminiscing with us, right? So it's what makes us. So we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely,
we totally appreciate that. We go on endless conversations, Glenn and I, about how you guys are the show. Really,
we do. We talk about all you guys after the show, and it's mostly good.
Yeah, it's mostly good. Except for the few people there. You guys know who you are, especially my cousin Sean. So, all right.
Seriously,
what do we
everyone.
Say, Glenn? I'm gonna reverse the roles this time. So
all right. So I'm gonna say real quick
to
everyone in the chat. First of all, thanks for joining us. We always appreciate you guys every Friday. We'll see you here again next Friday. But for right now, hop over to Super Game Room, dudes. Have a great show tonight. And until next time, tell your family and friends you love them. Tomorrow's never promised. And
do it, dude.
Game on, everyone. Have a good one.
Good night.
See you next week. Game on. Sit, Blue, sit. Good dog.